What if I told you that the fastest growing city in Walton County isn't actually in 30A? It's not Santa Rosa Beach. It's not Inlet Beach. It's not Destin. It's Freeport. And believe it or not, it is changing faster than any other city in this whole area. Let's go ahead and break it down. Is Freeport becoming the next big city here on the Emerald Coast? My name's Garrett Olds, local realtor here on the Emerald Coast, specializing in all things Freeport. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. If you're thinking about moving to the Emerald Coast, investing, or you're just kind of curious what's going on here, Freeport is an area that simply can't be ignored because just 10 years ago, it was quiet, it was rural, and it was really overlooked. Now, it's one of the fastest growing cities in the entire state. But with all of this growth, does that necessarily mean it's becoming the next major city? Not necessarily. So let's really take a look at what's actually happening in Freeport. The first point that I'd really like to look at is that of the population growth. In the last couple of years, we've seen Freeport jump at around 3 to 4% growth per year, which is extremely high for just a suburban city. In just over a decade, it's gone from a small rural town into a rapidly expanding suburban hub. So the key drivers are not tourism, it's simply people moving in. It's families, it's commuters, and it's retirees that are looking for something that 30A doesn't provide. That's space, new construction with really good incentives, and most importantly, affordability. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is that of the housing boom that's going on in Freeport. Freeport is in the middle of a full-blown build-out phase where you have all of these new construction builders that are trying to get a hold of as much land as possible to build these master plan communities. Because of Freeport being north of that 331 bridge, it has a lot more land to work with and is a lot less expensive. So it incentivizes these builders to go and try to build on that land while they still can at such an affordable price. Santa Rosa and all of the other cities on that little strip of the Panhandle can't do that because it's such a small strip. There's not enough real estate to work with for a big-time builder to come in and purchase a lot of land to develop that and build as many houses as some of these builders are looking to do. And so in real estate terms, with all of this building, it really signals one main thing, and that is a city that's in transition. Okay, and so that brings us to point number 3, and that is the commuter effects. 30A is not being replaced by Freeport anytime soon. Many of the residents of Freeport work along that 30A corridor, whether they're working in Santa Rosa Beach, maybe they're working in Miramar, Destin, or even across the bridge in Niceville. It is becoming a workforce and commuter hub for these higher cost coastal areas, which is exactly how many major suburban cities end up getting started. Another thing that's very important to note here is that how the infrastructure is still catching up with all of the demand. Roads are still being built, schools are still being expanded, and especially retail and service-related businesses are still being put into place along that Highway 20 and 331 area. So because of this, the infrastructure is still catching up with the demand, and that's really what you see in a city that's in such a rapid expansion mode. Okay, and finally, that brings us to point number 5, and that's the reality check. Is Freeport becoming the next major city? My honest answer is not yet. Freeport has a population of under 12,000 and is still developing commercially, so it's going to take a little bit of time for it to get there. However, it is on a trajectory that looks very familiar to other fast-growing Florida suburbs before they expanded as rapidly as they did. So at the end of the day, Freeport is not a major city. It still has limited population and needs a lot of commercial development to become that major city that, it potentially could be. And in all honesty, if it continues on the trajectory that it's going with the housing and infrastructure development, it can absolutely become an important inland hub in the Walton County area. And when we think about this in real estate terms, some of the biggest opportunities that can present themselves aren't coming from these areas that are already developed, but from the ones that are still in development. And Freeport is absolutely that, which I think is very exciting. All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Garrett Old, once again, local realtor here on the Emerald Coast. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to help you. Hope you guys have a great day, and see you in the next one. Peace.